Well, once again, good afternoon, and my name is Joey with Snellville Community Meet. Today we gathered here for one reason. One reason is really simple crime and safety updates, and Officer Smith from Snellville Police Department is here to update some of the information for us. And we will have our community update also as soon as he finishes presentation and the Q&A session. So in the beginning, as each of our community programs, would like to start with a prayer. And Pastor Dale, he is pastor in charge of this church, Christian Church, and he is so gracious to open this place for us and for us to use this facility for our meeting today. So we would like to invite him to have a word of prayer that we can go on with the meeting.
Father God, we just thank you for this opportunity to get together. Father, we're thankful for all of those who have taken time to be here, Father, that shows a concern for their community. Father God, I pray that our ultimate goal is for all of us to make this the best place to live, Father God. And so we just pray that the things that are discussed here today, Father God, will be of encouragement to us. And Father, we just pray that you will open our eyes and ears to opportunities to serve you. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Dale. And if you'd like to, if you would like to probably say meeting with you after the event ends. So today, Snellville Community Meet is really proud to come up with this program. And again, we have quite a few new residents and out of state. Our neighbors are moving in the last year or two, and within the last during the COVID time also, as you can see, there are tens and tens of new neighbors moving into our beautiful Snellville. And at the same time, we hear through different media, Nextdoor and other Facebook groups, that so many different things happening that wasn't used to happen before. Even though we don't have too many crimes, at the same time, we do have some situations that people just know bits and pieces of information from, could be from Facebook posts and all that. But we would like to give the best information as official and precise as we can. So that's why we come up with to have some police department to come out and give this information out to you so you would know what's happening in our city. So I would like to acknowledge Officer Smith from Snellville Police Department. Would you like to come to the stage and please give a round of applause? Thank you, sir.
I don't think I need a microphone, but we'll use one. I get pretty loud. Well, first of all, I appreciate y'all taking y'all Saturday to come out here. I know there's a lot going on today. We got 2 events I know of in Snellville. One's already happened and one's fixing to kick off with food, and that brings a big crowd. A lot of football going on, a lot of family events, a lot of festivals, which my wife would rather be at. But I do appreciate you taking your time to come out. We don't care if it's 5 people or 500 people. If people have questions and we can educate and enlighten them about how we're doing in Snellville, we're happy to do that. So I got a few topics we'll talk about. If y'all got questions, if you can save them to the end, that way we can get them all at one time. So when I got called about this event, I was asked to talk about some statistics in Snellville. It's a very broad topic. Snellville is about 11 to 12 square miles as a city. But outside of the city, in the county, it's still considered Snellville a long way away. Can you hear? Okay. So when we talk about Snellville, I want to talk about Snellville proper, the city limits of Snellville. And we talk about what do we see in Snellville. Y'all probably seen some of this. You may have been a victim to some of these crimes, or you may have been a witness. One of the worst ones we have in the city, can anybody guess what our worst crime probably is?
Car break-ins.
Probably auto accidents, stuff like that, right? Not really a first-person crime, but that's the biggest thing we probably go out on, or car crashes. Why? Because we're a city of 22,000 people with 200,000 driving through it. A lot of folks coming through the city. How do you prevent car accidents? Be educated, drive smart when you can, drive defensively. But the most important thing you can do is take your time. Don't be in a rush. I worked for our traffic unit for 13 of my 18 years, and auto accidents were our #1 call. We responded to more auto accidents than most other jurisdictions. So be careful when you're out and about. Another thing is hit and run, starting to get into crimes. Hit and runs happen quite often. These are incidents that people may not have a driver's license, and leave the scene. Maybe under the influence, leave the scene. Warrants that it can go on and on, but there's a reason they left that scene. Words of caution: if you're in an auto accident when somebody leaves, do not follow them. People think they're doing the right thing by chasing them down. I'm going to be honest with you, that is not your job, that is ours. Let us do that for you, okay? That's what we're here for. We have trained officers to do that kind of thing. We have investigators who work around the clock to solve these things. Another one we just talked about is our entering autos and our auto thefts. We get a lot of entering autos. Entering autos typically happen overnight. Most of our criminals don't want to be seen. They want to be unnoticed. They want to be in the shadows, so they can do this at night. Don't raise your hands, but think about it. Are you locking your car doors at night? I don't care if you're in an apartment or a $1 million home. They don't care either. They will come into your neighborhood and they will pull on door handles. This is a crime where you can prevent yourself from being a victim. If you are that person that happens to leave your car doors unlocked, please do not leave guns in your cars. Sounds like it's common sense, right? It's not that way. We got lots of guns taken from cars. Are they going to take those guns and use them at the range and go hunting? No, they're not. They're going to use this for nefarious actions. We don't need those guns on the road, all right? Lock your cars up. How can Snellville help you to not be a victim? How can the police department help you to not be a victim of an entering auto? Our police officers all have police cars with blue lights. They have maps of the city. They know the city backwards and forwards. They cruise your neighborhood at night while you're sleeping and during the day to be a deterrent. Our job is to keep the peace, right? So if we can get out there and be a presence, a show, let people know we are in your areas, that prevents a lot of crime. If criminals are in your neighborhood and we drive through, we may not see them, but they're going to see us. Our city council and our chiefs have done a phenomenal job giving our officers the equipment we need. The new cars we have something called cruise lights. They are steady lights that stay on, that illuminate the car and the area. So as we're going through neighborhoods, we are easy to spot for two things: for that criminal to spot us and move on, or if somebody needs assistance, they can pick us out quickly to be able to get that assistance. So that's how we can help you keep from being a victim. Now, if you are a victim, what do? You call the police department. Once again, we are trained to do this job. Our investigators are top-notch. We have something called flock cameras that we will talk about a little later, which are amazing tools. We use all these tools to hunt down the criminal element. Our chiefs' number one goals are to protect our citizens and hunt down the criminal element, whatever that takes. We are a 24-hour department, a little bit over 50 sworn officers. We take holidays and vacations just like you do. We go to lunch just like you do. But when I'm doing that, there's 10 other people out there doing my job, right? If you see us in your neighborhood, stop and say something to us. We'd love to talk to you. A lot of our officers carry teddy bears in their cars to hand out to little kids. We are all about our public, because if you know who we are, then we can better protect you. But let's go back. If you are a victim of an entering auto, check with your neighbors. 2, 3, 4, 10 houses down, either way, they were probably victims as well. The quicker we get this information, we can get out there. The less items you have in your car, the more appealing it is. A lot of ladies, men will leave purses and bags in these cars that are visible. Make you an easy target. But when else can an entering auto happen? We're fixing to come up on the #1 time of the year for entering autos. That's shopping. I don't know if y'all spent much time on 124. That may be the reason you're in here. Starting right now through the end of the year, 124 is a nightmare for everyone, including us. But it's a great opportunity for criminals. Most people don't leave their house and run to Target and buy 2 things and go home. They'll run to Target, they'll run to Walmart, they'll run to Home Depot, and they keep shoving this stuff in their cars and in their trunks. They will watch you get in your car with those items. They will follow you. You may even stop at Cracker Barrel and have some lunch. And they're going to take that opportunity to go in your car. Be smart when you're doing this, guys. As far as the cars go, stolen cars. We've got our share of stolen vehicles within the city, but more than anything, by the use of these flock cameras and our officers on the road, we stop stolen cars driving through our city who are coming from other places. We're able to deter that crime as they get into the city to keep our citizens safe. Because stolen cars fall into the wrong hands. They do bad things. They're used in crimes. So we can stop those cars on a routine traffic stop, identify them, arrest those subjects, and get those cars back to their owners. Not as easy to steal a car anymore as it used to be. There are technological advances that have helped us with that, but they're still stolen on a regular basis. How do you protect yourself from somebody stealing your car? It is hard. It is hard. People put the steering wheel locks on there. Doesn't really work. Most of the newer cars, 2018, 2017 and up, are equipped with GPS. We can get that GPS information and typically find that car fairly quickly if it's local. But the only real way is to pay attention to your surroundings. Y'all have all heard, see something, say something. Don't be a victim by not saying something. Call us. Tell a friend. Let's start this report. Let's start the documentation. It may be that you come to us and you say, there was a green Toyota pickup truck just looked weird driving down the road. We document that. Next day, this gentleman calls and says, weird Toyota pickup truck. We can use that to establish a trend of that type of suspicious activity. Eventually, if it pans out, we're going to get that vehicle doing something wrong. But we've got to have your eyes and ears. Our officers run 5 to 6 officers per shift. There's 22,000 citizens. We need y'all out there. That's what a partnership is for. Some of the other crimes we have are property crimes. Has anybody been the victim of a property crime? Y'all are among the fortunate. It happens a lot. Whether it's damage to your car, somebody hits it with a buggy, somebody steals or messes something up at your house, damages your lawn, your fence, your mailbox. There's all sorts of property crimes that happen. Vandalism. These are ones we need to hear of quickly. We need to be able to report on these. We need to be able to start investigating these as quick as possible. The way our system works is our detectives get these cases pretty quickly. The quicker we can get that information out, the quicker we can find the suspect. We also use social media for this type of stuff. Our social media presence is pretty big. Y'all haven't been on our Facebook page? It's a pretty good hoot. Our chief loves to get on there and put things up for the benefit of our citizens. Excuse me, it's really hot here. It's not the pressure, it's the heat. But go on there. Look at things we've got going on. If we have something that we have seen in this city, we will let y'all know through Facebook, through social media, through events. Our city council meetings, some of this stuff happens. We talk about this stuff. What are some of the other crimes we talk about? Talk about theft. Anybody ever been in a Walmart or a Target, seen police officers out front? Yes. That's not special parking spaces. It's not running in to get something from the deli. That's because we're probably there for theft. The local establishments arrest people every single day for theft. It's a crime of opportunity. I did it for 15 years at Walmart. There's a lot of theft out there. We respond to thefts at homes, thefts at businesses, at hospitals. 99% of those are a theft of opportunity. Somebody left something laying around that somebody else wanted, and they took it. How do you protect yourself from being a victim of theft? Being out and about, it sounds silly. Use that buddy system. Take somebody with you. Pay attention to your surroundings. When you're leaving a business, look around. Who's near you? If somebody's near you that you just don't feel right about, just stop and look at them. Right? Don't be a victim of a theft. If it does happen, call us. I can tell you how many times somebody will call me and say, "Hey, Sarge, somebody broke into my neighbor's house," or "Somebody did this." I'm like, call the county. Don't call me. Call the police department directly. Tell them what's going on, give as much information as you can. We do not want y'all to be heroes. We want you to be amazing witnesses. Because you have first-hand knowledge. Let us know what's going on. This is a topic that I could talk to y'all all day on. And this is probably our number one call. Frauds and scams. Most people in here have probably been the victim of a fraud or a scam, whether you know it or not. Anybody in here use any kind of square, some symbol I've never seen before, something at iCloud.com? Email was very, very, very official. I called Allstate. I'm like, hey, just letting you know this is what's going on. It almost got me. I was close. I was close to clicking that link. How many of our younger folks, how many of our seniors, how many of our people, I don't even say seniors, 60 and up who weren't raised on computers, fall for these scams? They're very, very easy. How about through the mail? Who will contact you? No, I'm not going to ask you that question. The FBI will never call your house.
They're showing up.
Yeah, never show up. Social Security office will never call your house. The tax commissioner is not going to call your house. Amazon is not going to call your house. If they send you anything, it is through the mail. That's the one thing we can pretty much rely on. Not how quickly it gets there, but that it gets there. Every one of these will have a contact number where you will speak to someone and they will have all of your information. If they ever call and give you the last 4 of your social security number, does that make you feel good? Pretty much public knowledge, they can get that information. Ask questions. When in doubt, just don't do it, guys. There's a lot of scams going around for parents and grandparents over the phone. We've had a lot of citizens fall victim to these. You can go online right now, you pay 99 cents a month, go online, and I can find out how many kids and grandkids you have and where they live. If your kids are in school, where they're going to school. And I can call and say, hey, Joey, your son's playing soccer up here in Tennessee. Yeah, he got arrested. We're going to need $500 to bond him out. What's Joey going to do? Oh my gosh. I'm going to pay that money. Joey's not going to. But some people will. Your granddaughter's traveling abroad. Did you know that? I did not. She's in Europe. She got some trouble. She needs $15,000. She is not available by phone. You need to do this. Now the smart thing is to pick up the phone and call your granddaughter. But they pressure you, so you don't have that much time. We've had to go as far as say they've kidnapped people. It's a game of numbers here. They get 1 out of 1,000, they had a good day. If you think it's not right, guys, call somebody, ask. A couple years ago, a lady called us at Walmart, and she was up there buying $10,000 in green dot cards. And the representative at Walmart called and said, something's not right. We go up there, we start talking to her as she's talking to the person on the phone. Her husband was kidnapped on the way to work. He was going into the Gold's Gym. They kidnapped him, holding him for $10,000 for green dot cards. And I'm like, have you called your husband? He's like, no, he won't let me off the phone. She wrote the number down. I called him. I was like, hey, Bill, what you doing? He said, I'm at Gold's Gym working out. I'm like, are you safe? Yep. She was in the process of buying $10,000 in cards to get her husband out of trouble. They're good. They're really good at what they do. If you think you have a fraud or a scam, ask questions. Get somebody else on the phone. Tell them this is the easiest way to do it. Give me your number, I'll call you right back. They're not going to give you a real number. It'll work. I mean, you can call back, they're not going to get you off that phone. They will not let you off the phone. Most of our mobile providers have spam software, scam software. They work somewhat, but this is a clue. If you pick it up and you say hello, and they don't say it right back, hang up. That's a scam. They want you to stay on that line because it's going to be transferred to somebody probably in another country or sitting in the middle of a cruise ship out in the middle of the ocean, and it gives them time to answer that phone. I can talk about scams and frauds all day because it is one of our #1 calls, and it is such a crime where we are losing tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per victim. They will get you, okay? So we can talk about crime in the city, but we want to talk more about prevention and how are we as a police department preventing these crimes and helping you as a victim. The first thing, like I said, is the equipment we have. I've been with the police department for 18 years, and every year we continue to upgrade our equipment, to upgrade our process, to upgrade our knowledge of the criminal element and how to hunt them. We are getting them off the streets faster and faster every day. Not only are we preventing crime in Snellville through our aggressive traffic enforcement, we stop people coming through Snellville, like we talked about, every day who committed crimes in other places that they were undetected. And so we can house those people at the Gwinnett County Jail for another agency. We do this day in and day out. We have the equipment, we have the tools, we have the technology. And let's talk about flock cameras for a second. Who in here is familiar with flock cameras? Flock cameras are like tag readers that can read the tags of vehicles driving down the road. But that's not all they do. What they do is they collect data. We need this data. We can use it to help solve hit and runs. Every now and then solve just a regular accident. I was part of our accident investigation unit for quite a long time. We solved a couple fatality accidents by using these flock cameras. But also, if you call and say, this green Toyota pickup truck backed up to my neighbor's house, took their refrigerator, stove, and dishwasher out, put them in the back, and took off. How much information did you give us? A ton. We can now go to flock cameras, and we can put in, find me a green Toyota pickup truck, and it will isolate all those pickup trucks. Now we know there's 3 appliances in the back. We can find that, and we can track it. There are hundreds of thousands of these across the nation. We can get a tag number. That tag number we can take and put through our software, and we can find out where those people are. If it's a new enough vehicle, we can talk to a Gwinnett County judge and get a subpoena or a warrant for that car. And we can track that car through their GPS. That little bit of information goes a long way. Now, flock cameras are meant to capture tags and license plates, but they can also capture people. We have had a couple of things happen where a person was on foot. We had a good description. We saw them on the flock camera, and we were able to go to that area and obtain that person. These are great tools. And what does it cost for flock? Neighborhoods. If you are in a neighborhood, look at a flock system for your neighborhood. There is an upfront cost, and they pretty much run themselves. We have 2 in my neighborhood over in Lawrenceville. I consider it Grayson, but it is Lawrenceville. And it's an in and an out. Any car that comes in or leaves that neighborhood, we've got a record of it. If we've got a crime, the Gwinnett County Police Department calls and says, hey, I need access to this day. They give them the information. But what we've started doing over the last few years is having these departments give us full access to their cameras. That way our officers, our investigators, our communications officers can do this research as the officers en route to the call. It's thoroughly, thoroughly helpful. If you have a neighborhood, you want to protect it, flock cameras are a great way to go. There are other items out there. I just know a lot about the flock system. Okay? So, I'm done talking about crime in Snellville because we could talk for hours and hours. Do we want to open up to questions now? Please. If anybody's got questions about the crime in Snellville, what we're doing to help it, I'll be happy to answer those. Yes, ma'am.
How you doing? Thank you. Good to see you again.
Yes, ma'am. You too.
What is the decision? What goes into where the flock cameras are located within Snellville?
It's usually only, I'm sorry, I apologize. It's usually on the outer borders of the cities where it's coming into the city or exiting the city. Because that's how we have them up right now. But the flock cameras that we have as a city are a very small part of the cameras we use. Like a business puts a flock camera in, we request access. So we've got dozens and dozens of those we can use. The actual, and they will go over everything with you. I've seen them start around $5,000 and go, sky's the limit, depending on what you want. When we started in our neighborhood, I was one of the 5 people that had access to them. Now we just turn it over to Grant County.
Okay.
They have full access to it, and then Flock maintains it for us. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, right here.
Me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I thought she raised her hand too. I just wanted to share a story. When you mentioned being a victim of someone saying someone's kidnapped, I was driving past Britt Elementary, and someone called me and said that they had kidnapped my brother. They were able to give his name, identify the vehicle that he drove.
Sure.
And I instantly was like, what? You know, and so I pulled into Britt, and then if I was listening, I'm going, yeah, okay. So because I have a relationship with Britt, I went in, I was able to, they wouldn't let me off the phone. At the time, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm like, no, we haven't. And they were literally making noise in the background as if they were like roughing them
Sure.
up. I mean, they went through a whole like movie scene. And then I was able to use another phone in Britt. Hey, brother, what you doing? Football. What do you think?
Right.
All right, bye.
Yep.
And I handed the phone over to a police officer, and yeah. So
Happens
that
all the time.
happened, right.
And they're good. These are not rookies doing this.
Mhm.
These are typically, not always, but typically third world countries that farm this stuff out. I watch a lot on YouTube about how they catch these scammers. And they call the wrong person, they can log into the computer, and they can log into the scammer's computer. And they can do some pretty good stuff. But it is quick, it's easy. They're not usually nice about it either. They're usually very forceful when it's something like that.
Is it anything we can do with regard to artificial intelligence? I think, is that something? Look at you, Tamara.
It's a whole nother topic.
Okay.
Protect yourselves from being in the knowledge, be knowing of it. Artificial intelligence, for me, is a lot like the internet. There are some amazing tools for it, but used in the wrong way, it can be bad.
Okay.
So just know about it. Yes, ma'am.
You didn't mention anything about violent crime in Snellville. How do we look on violent crime? We pretty good, pretty safe?
So I'm not going to talk about some statistics, because if I report to the hospital of a violent crime and I take that report, it could show up on the city of Snellville as a violent crime when it's somebody from Decatur who came to Snellville for that. I was going to finish by telling y'all, FBI's website, it has something called UCR. UCR. Uniform Charlie Romeo. Where you can go on and you can find all of these statistics for every city, every county, every state. That is a great tool. It's free. It is all-encompassing. You put something in there, you will find the information. I was born and raised in Grayson, Georgia, which is right down the road, but there was no Grayson, so I was raised in this city. I went to school here. My first job ever was here. My last job ever is here. The city has changed, but with any change comes progress, which is good and has its rough spots. I'm not going to talk about, I would hesitate to talk about where the crime levels are, but I will tell you, this city has never done any more to stop the crime. Not even stop the crime when it happens and catch the people. That's reactive work. We want to be proactive. We want to be out there, have officers on the road, have detectives working every day, have our administration staff running the numbers, and we try to find out where these crimes are going to occur and how to stop them. If y'all have been in Snellville long enough, you will see there are more police officers, more police cars, and more police lights. Great, great deterrent. Another deterrent we have are our school safety program cameras. Has anybody been a beneficiary of one of those violations?
No comment.
Uh-oh.
These cameras are geared at slowing people down in school zones.
That's what I want to ask. Are they valid during just the morning hours, or in the afternoon hours, or are they all day?
Great question. The state legislature wrote it that these cameras can start an hour before school begins and go all throughout the day while students are receiving instruction until an hour after school's over.
Okay, I'll
So-
look for sure.
Our cameras run from an hour before to an hour after. Yes, ma'am. And let me tell you what they've done. They have eliminated the fatalities in these areas. They have drastically reduced auto accidents with injuries. And they have had a huge reduction on just the regular accidents. They have affected speeding. They have reduced that. But the problem is we are such a transient city. People drive down Highway 78, which we drive down every day, and it'd be their first time doing it. They don't pay attention. We have doubled the amount of signs that we're required to have. We scrutinize the system over and over and over to make sure it's perfect, and it is. But it has been a very effective tool to reduce those people coming through our city who are speeding, to reduce that. Yes, ma'am.
124 and 78. With regard, you said we have more signs. So you know the new split.
No, the new signs are for the school cameras.
Gotcha.
We've doubled those signs. That area,
Don't go there.
I don't think you could put enough signs there.
Right.
It takes time going through. I will tell you, it is very effective. It has relieved the traffic tremendously.
Yeah, but I've also seen, like what I was going to say is, I don't know if police presence or whatnot, but people going up the wrong way now. And that's happened to me twice.
Right.
Where an individual, instead of going over this way, they're going into my oncoming lane. So if I'm on 78 East,
Yes, ma'am.
crossing over 124, the people going 78 West, instead of veering this way to
Right.
the snake, they're literally coming up my lane.
Right.
That's scary.
It is scary. And we have two junctions there that if people aren't paying attention, they will be on the wrong way. The good news there is, if they are the wrong way, it's very low speed. And we haven't had any major accidents there because of that. If any of y'all were in Snellville when we had the reversible lane system,
No, yes.
that was wrong way drivers every day because there was no physical barrier there. It is a tough intersection to navigate. I'm not going to tell you it's not, but it is a very effective. It is much better than it used to be, even for accidents.
So we need to seek out GDOT or someone other than city limit area to try to mitigate that, because I hate for a fatality. That's happened to me twice.
Sure.
So I'd hate for a fatality to be the reason that we are reactive instead of proactive.
And those are state maintained roads, being Highway 78, 124, so they handle all of that. We have no say-so in the signage there. So that is all on the state. Yes, ma'am.
I know there's some areas, and we hear this all the time on TV and so forth, that have a shortage of officers. Are we in good standing as far as the number of officers we have to cover? Because Snellville is growing.
Absolutely.
And so is the police department growing along with that?
So with COVID and everything, we were like every police department, we were down a lot. A lot. Our city council, our mayors, our chief, and our city manager came together and put a package together to increase the salaries and benefits for police officers. We were down around 14 officers. Of a department of 50, we're down 1 right now.
All right. Wow.
And being in that position, what that allows us to do is not to go get a warm body. What that allows us to do is pick the finest of the bunch, the cream of the crop. We've got 3 officers who entered the academy in 1 week from this coming up Monday. We've got 1 spot and we are full. It is an amazing turnaround. Amazing. And like I said, we're not going and seeking out academies. We're not having to do career fairs. We're not having to do job fairs. People are coming to us. People want to work for the Snellville Police Department. Yes, ma'am.
Do the police officers live in the city limits?
They can. Not all of them. I still live in Grayson. We've got some that drive an hour away. We have 1 officer who's an hour and a half away.
Wow.
Drives in every day.
Are there any incentives for them to live within the city limits? Just because, like you said, being able to be relational, have the teddy bears, you see your officers, you have more of a relationship. So to see our officers off duty at Publix or Kroger, it really will have a great impact, especially with our young people. So are there any incentives for officers to live in the city limits?
There are. We have a take-home car policy. We've got things like that. But I'm going to tell you right now, as an 18-year veteran of law enforcement, you do not live and play in the town you work in law enforcement. Because we do interact with so many different criminals within our city that a lot of times we do not want to be living there as well. It's too much access to us. They can see us drive home. And that's the mindset of a police officer. Whether it's legitimate or not, that's the mindset of that police officer. We do come to the city. Me and my wife, like I said, we were both born in the city, or she was born in the city, I was raised in the city. We still come here quite often. But I go home and I take this off, and I actually look like a really skinny guy. And I come back up here and we shop and eat in our personal vehicles. And that's what most of our officers will do from the areas. They'll come back into the city. But there needs to be a separation from duty to off duty for police officers. The whole psychological thing, which will take us another 12 hours, an officer's on high alert for 12 hours a day at work. When they take the uniform off, they want to be able to relax. They don't want to be that person that everybody's like, hey, there's that great police officer I know. They want to be a person. They do enough volunteer time in the city with events where they get enough face time with our people. So is it a benefit to our citizens for the officers to live here? I don't see a huge benefit for the officers to live in the city. We would love them to, because they get to work quicker, on time, things like that. Make their commute time less. So they're not, maybe have a little more energy when they get here, when they get home. Better for their family, more family time. But I don't see it as being a huge incentive for our citizens, for an officer to live in the city. We do have a few that live in the city.
What programs do you guys have to engage with? I know the previous police chief, he worked with a nonprofit to help bring kids in with town halls. Do we still do that currently?
I don't know the program you're talking about.
It wasn't a program. He just took the initiative to partner with a nonprofit to bring in young kids and have town halls so young people can learn about police officers, even may want to pursue a career in law enforcement. But my question would be, does the current police chief and you guys have a program where you would like to engage in the community so
Sure.
that young people can get more involved?
Absolutely. So our chief right now has taken what our lab chief started and multiplied it. We are in the city, in the town, with the people more than we ever have been. We do town halls, we do shop with the cop events, we do public safety nights, we are in our schools almost every day. We are talking to the kids, we're doing library events, we do a Halloween handout. We are always engaging with the
You do town halls, we can find it on your website when you have.
No, ma'am, you'd have to go through City Hall to do that. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, so I don't want to give you a wrong answer. So you need to talk to City Hall about that to see what events they have.
Right. So my specific question, now you don't have to answer, I just want to make it clear. A town hall by the police chief for citizens like this.
You'd have to ask the chief.
Okay.
I'm not going to speak to our chief.
All right. So that's what I was wondering. So I'll ask, yeah. So I think that'd be good. For all us to meet you guys.
Yeah, we do mock interviews, we do mock trials, we do mock hiring at the high school to interact with them. We had an Explorer program, a cadet program, where we brought officers in for years and years and years to teach them what we do every day, to give them a jump start if they wanted to be in law enforcement, they go into the military. We are always in the community. As far as exactly that, I don't have an answer.
Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So the emergency number, I had two questions actually. One is, what is a non-emergency number? Just without any accidents, just a report.
Sure. It's 770.
What's this number? I'm sorry. I
It's a
couldn't
non-emergency number. 770-985-3555. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I'm asking so many questions.
You're fine.
Here's
That's what I'm
one. When we report a crime, my neighbors call me about this all the time. They report a crime or something. They call the non-emergency number and they're asked to give their identity.
Yes.
And therefore they feel like they don't want to report anything because they don't want their identity revealed. Can you speak to that?
Sure. That's kind of silly because anybody can say, I want to remain anonymous. That's all they have to say. We're going to ask because, like, what did I say? We need y'all to be witnesses. We need y'all to be our eyes and ears. And if somebody calls and says, I saw something, this happened. Well, what was it? I don't want to say. That's not helpful. We need as much information as you can give. Now, if you don't want us to come and talk to you, which I completely understand. You just saw a burglary across the street, and then the police show up to your house to talk to you about it.
Right.
I get that. But you can remain anonymous. We're going to get your information. It's on the caller ID. We've got your information.
Right.
We're just not going to come to you. If you request, we're not going to come to you. We're going to respect you enough to do that.
And so the call ID thing too, so you literally would call them back. Because then, like, that's the whole
If
thing.
you call us
They
and
don't want
say,
their
I want to be
identity.
anonymous,
Then
you're
not gonna do
anonymous.
that. Okay.
period. Officer's screen says anonymous.
And you want, okay.
That's it. If you call from your house and you say, I want to be anonymous, and we go over there, and you've called 3 or 4 times because you watch and see what's going on, we may know where your house is, but we're still not going to do it. We're going to respect you not to do that.
We dialed 911 a few weeks ago, right on 78. So the lady was in accident. She was totally confused there. So I dialed 911 for her, and he went to the voicemail. And so that was my first experience. When you dial 911, you have someone, a human, will answer on the other end. So what's that? I mean, is there something that we had to be aware of? There's issues that 911 having that we dial, and no one returned the call for like 10 minutes. She was just sitting on the side of the road because someone hit her car and just drove away.
So it depends on where you're at on 78. So 911 up on the cell phones, we have a tower, and it's going to decide which jurisdiction you're in. If you were transferred to Gwinnett County, I can't answer that for you. I've never heard of a case where somebody's called 911 in Snellville and got it reported. And I will tell you, we don't have a reporter in Snellville. So we've got people who answer the phone.
So it wasn't right next to that Papillion Plus anyway, on 78, but I think that was in Snellville City. So it went to voicemail, there's no human being answered.
Yeah, if you got a voicemail, it was not the city of Snellville that they called. It was probably Gwinnett. And I cannot answer for them. Could have been. I do not know that answer. If it was Snellville, you're not going to get a voice reporter. You can get somebody to answer the phone.
So then I had to wait for 5 minutes and dial back, and then someone actually.
Right.
It was like 5 minutes later.
Right. Yeah, so cell phones, what they're going to do is get off the tower, give you a location. And if the location's off or it picks up the wrong one, it can do the next jurisdiction. But if you call Snellville, if you call 911 and get Snellville, you will not get a report. Yes, ma'am.
When we have home cameras, how involved is it to be connected to the police department? How does that process work?
So we don't get access to your home cameras. You talking about the flock cameras?
No, like
Okay.
at our house, we have
Right.
cameras put up.
Green.
Is it only Green that you guys can connect to?
We don't connect to the Snellville. We don't connect to your cameras.
You don't? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
If y'all want to do it in a neighborhood talk, we'll do a neighborhood talk sometime. We talk about cameras a lot. I love them.
Okay.
I'm a huge believer. And what we do is we just want a system we can get access to. So if
Okay.
we come to you, we had an incident happen a while back. We went around. There were probably 30 cameras that people gave us access to and
Okay.
helped us solve that crime quickly. So they are great tools.
Okay.
But we do not get access to those like directly.
Okay. I didn't know if maybe I could get a homeowner's insurance discount.
Yeah, there are some areas that do that. There's some systems in place. We do not have that.
Okay.
Any more questions?
I have a question, but it's kind of a long shot question.
Okay.
And it's just kind of, I live in Snellville, but I work in the city of Atlanta
Okay.
at the hospital. And I guess my question is, for as being a carrier, going to the hospital, you got to leave your gun in the car. That's just kind of how it is, And that's when people steal your guns, of course, when they're left in the car. So my question is, would there be, like, maybe this is probably a big question, a long-term answer to maybe business providing lock boxes or?
That's
You know
per
what I
business.
mean?
Some do. Two follow-ups for you. Why do you leave it in there? Why do you not take it inside?
Well, if you go to, let's say you go to the hospital, I don't take it to work, but I'm just saying, there are
Okay.
people, and there's metal detectors now, so you can't come into the hospital.
Oh, through the hospital. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you're like, oh, well, I got a doctor's appointment, I got to swing by,
Right.
and then you go, there's like metal, things now.
Sure.
We used to not have them, but we have them now.
Right.
And so if you're like, got to stop by and visit mom, or got an appointment, like, okay, I'll leave my gun at home for
Sure.
the day, or.
So they make amazing lock boxes now for your car. They
Right.
can be installed to the frame, and they either have a key, a push button, a fingerprint, that you can lock it in there, and somebody is going to have to go through great lengths to get that weapon out. We typically do not see those stolen. We see the ones that people leave in the doors, in the glove box, in the center console. But they make the cases that you can actually bolt down to the frame. Those are as secure as you can get for a vehicle. That's an option. There are some businesses, very few, that have lock boxes where you can leave a weapon. I went to the College Football Hall of Fame and took my weapon because I was allowed to. And I got there and they asked me if I could put it in my vehicle, and I'm like, it's a mile away. I didn't want to do that. And so they provided a lockbox to me because I was law enforcement. For civilians, they do not.
Right.
But as law enforcement, they did. So that is something that could happen. Problem there is you have to watch those lockboxes. You have to have a camera on them. You have to have staff for them.
So it's a process.
It is a process.
It is.
It's all about money.
You're right.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
This has been great.
All right. Well, I'm telling you, if you got more questions, call the police department, ask for Scott. Me and my partners both named Scott. We'll be happy to help you. Frauds and scams are a huge, huge thing. We've got information we will give you. It's given to us for free. We want to put it in your hands. Follow our Facebook. We've got a lot of information on there. We're fixing to start back up pop-up events where we just show up in random neighborhoods, in random areas, and hand out information.
And invite you to neighborhood watches and little meet and greets, huh?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Invite you to neighborhood little meet and greets maybe. If
So-
we can schedule enough time. So
Absolutely. So I do a lot of HOA meetings.
Yeah.
Anybody who asks for an HOA meeting, we do a lot of these, a lot. It may not be able to be on the exact time frame you want. When Jomi called me about another event, I was unable to do that day because I was doing something else. Today worked out. If you're flexible with your schedule, we'll get to you. We'll come out and talk. And on those levels, we can bring information out to help you right then. Nothing else?
Let's give a round of applause to the
Thank you, sir. That was quite a lot of information, and thanks for answering the questions. And so we're gonna wrap the whole thing in about a few minutes. Before we're gonna, Kathy have probably a minute or two presentation regarding children. She works with a lot of children in our county, and she have I guess it's really time-sensitive material she want to cover with us. So before that, I just want to let you all know, number 4, we're going to have a safe event with the Gwinnett PD. There are 2 officers that are scheduled to come. That's going to be hopefully at the Soul Road Church, number 4, 12 to 1. So I would like to keep that in the calendar, the date and time. And of course, we have the plans for the drive regarding food and clothing drop-off. That's one of the events we planned last year. It didn't work out, so we're going to let you all know that the date and time where you can drop off your clothing and things like that to support the community. So that's another program that we are planning to have this fall or towards the holiday weeks and so forth. So, and like you say, you know, today we had a lot of information and we have some of those things on recording. So I was probably going to forward that link to you so you can forward that to your friends. It's really important, some of the information that you heard today, to pass it out to your neighbors and friends and so forth. And I appreciate you coming out. So Kathy, would you like to come to stage and have Kathy Timmons?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's going to be real brief and real quick. I'm one of those people that somebody tells me something, I get all excited about it. And I was at a barbecue place the other day, and I ran into a teacher, and she has helped me a lot. I work with children from 0 to 5. I'm not here on behalf of my job, but I just something that was in my heart. And she was asking me, how's everything going with the story times that I do? And I was telling her, oh, everything is great. And she was telling me that she works with young children at the elementary school. And she was telling me that children, she went to a meeting and some of the children, well, she's experienced this in her school, they were drawing pictures that were inappropriate. And so when further asking the kids, where did they see these types of things? And they were as young as 6 and 7 years old. And they had saw it on the internet. And of course we know that digital learning and people are doing a lot of things on the internet. And the internet is an amazing thing. But these are just some things that she shared with me. Is at her meeting, they talked about a website and several different websites. But if you look here on the board, I don't know if we can just kind of scroll down just up to the very top of it. When I say top, I'm sorry, go back up. And it'll tell you the actual name of the website. You guys see it?
Yeah, we see it. Yeah.
every accountable. If you cannot afford the site, you can call and they'll give you a free site or a very discounted site. It's for adults, children, and anybody who actually has some type of addiction. And just to scroll down just a little bit about the content, it'll give you statistics of what's happening now and the future. Can you go down just a little bit, who watches? And it's where it's got content. And then it also gives you, keep going, please. There you go. You can click on those tabs and then get information of what's happening now. And if you go down a little bit further, children in social media. When we think about children in pornography, don't necessarily think about TikTok or Instagram. It's something that you hand your child the phone, and you never think that these type of things are going to affect the child, or they're going to get into see something or even think about it. But it's something that you and the person that you have the account with, you can see, screenshot, and get updates on up to, I think it's 6 devices, and you're holding each other accountable. Not only can they see what you're looking at if you choose to, but you definitely can see what they're looking at, and it's something that can help, in families before the problem gets out of hand. And I just wanted to share this with you. There are several different accountable websites that you can use, but this is one of them. And like I said, the teacher told me that they're seeing more and more and more inappropriate pictures, conversations, and things like that from innocent, supposedly, websites. And you yourself, and you can help your family with somebody that has something like this. That's all I need to say. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. So today's event, we have few from our Snellville Community Media Organization, especially Lori Scott and Rosalie and Evelyn. Stacy is missing today, and of course Kathy, Gabby here. They all part of our organization. I appreciate their help. And we also have a few visitors. They left. I think they have to attend another event. But Catherine Hardwick, she's running for council member. So would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you.
Please come up.
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine Hardrick and I am running for Snellville City Council Post 1. And I like to let you know that I am running because I believe in a strong community, and I would like to continue to work to build Snellville to be a strong community where everyone will have a voice and everyone is listened to. I also believe that we need to have more accountability and transparency within our organizations, within our government. And so I would like to continue to work very hard to hold our elected officials accountable and be more transparent with what's going on, as well as hold myself accountable to the same high standards, and each and every one of you, by asking you, the taxpayers, to be involved, come to meetings, ask questions, attend events such as this great event, so that we all can be informed and know where our tax dollars are going. And then lastly, I believe that we need to make sure that we have more togetherness, more diversity, and celebrate each and every one of our voices. So those are the things that I really want to do in the community. Make sure that we have more of a strong community, make sure that we have more accountability and transparency, and work together to make sure that all of our voices are heard. And these are things that I am currently doing right now. So please visit electcat.com if you'd like to learn more, get involved, and volunteer. You also can visit karenandkat.com. It is a community-focused podcast that we have called Conversations with Karen and Kat, where we highlight individuals in the community, from our young people to other entrepreneurs of all spaces and walks of life, and bridge the gap for people who are in need of those much-needed resources. So thank you so very much, electcat.com.
All right, we wish you good luck on behalf of our organization, and we'd like to see more young folks coming into the city council. And she was, thanks for serving our country. She was in the Army before.
Yes.
And Lori also, you're part of the Navy. All right, there you go.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thanks for your service. Thank God. So before we're going to close, just want to let you all know there are soft drinks and snacks available. If you take a right turn on this little aisle here, there's a room there. It's set up on the table. Please grab something to drink and the chips. And I appreciate you coming out, and look forward to seeing you at the November 4th event. It's going to be at the Soul Road United Methodist Church, 12 to 1. And hope you can invite your friends and families, and please do grab some of the flyers here. These are really small flyers, so you can just keep it in your car and just give it to your neighbors as well. So thanks again, and have a great weekend, and hoping to see you in about a month and a half. Thank you.
Thank you.